So I did promise a video on sorting strings, and I'm not going to do it this video, but I will do it in the next one, and that's because I first want to introduce you to data structures, and it'll make the lesson on sorting strings all that much more clearer. So to do a structure, we have to type in above the main function the keyword struct. We'll go black and then give it a name. So we'll call it patience. Then we have to have a set of curly braces that we end with a semicolon. And inside there, we're going to have our variables that are used to describe our patients. So we might have an int variable called age, and we might have a vector string called names. And if you're doing this really, you would have them linking, but we're just going to do it just to show you how to populate different variables in a structure. So since we're using vectors in this program, we have to include them at the top. So now we have our function made, or our structure made. We need a way to populate that, and the best way is to start creating functions outside the main function. So we'll have an int function called pop, for short for populate. We're not sure what we're going to have in the parameters just yet, but here's the body of code that we'll execute. Because we created a structure called patience, that's now a data type. It can be thought of as a data type that consists of one integer variable and one string that's contained in vector. So that is now a data type. You can think of that if you want to, like an int or double, but it contains these two members. So in here, we'll type in patience, and we'll just call it, we'll give that something to refer to, key. We pass the ampersand symbol here because we're passing by reference. That means we're going to be editing what is contained in patience, and we'll use key to refer to it. So our first variable that is in the structure is called age. Our first variable in the structure is an int variable called age. So down in our pop function, we'll see in age. Notice that we have key in front of it. That's just because right here we're using key to refer to patients. So key.age populates the age variable. Now since this is a vector here, we're going to have to do something a little different for it. And you can do it all in this function here, but we're going to make another one called pop vector. You would probably make, if you had time to do your program, you'd probably make them a little more clear. So we have a string variable x is what we'll store the user's input in. We'll say while x does not equal asterisk, run this command. The command we're going to run is the command to populate the vector. First, we have to pass something to this vector. What we're going to pass is vector, string vector, because that's what this is, string vector. And you can give it any old name, and we'll just say n. So n dot push underscore back. If you remember from my last video, that is how you populate a vector. And we'll store whatever the user input is, which is x, into the vector. So whatever the user inputs, x, goes into the vector n, which will refer back to the other program. So we're going to call the function, the popv function inside here. Popv will pass key dot, see what we call that, names, and end. So that passes the names vector down here where it's stored in n, and then we edit n. We don't have to return n, because if you remember, we're passing it by reference, so whatever's done in here actually affects that variable. So the next thing to do would be to, above our main function, have our declarations, int pop, and it is expecting patience, and the reference of patience. And we have int pop v, which is expecting a vector string, and the reference of that reference point of that vector. Now in our main function, what we can do is call the